Hello, my name is Eileen Felix, and I'm here to talk to you guys about how I got over postpartum depression. So, postpartum depression affected me from when my son was 5 months old until my son was about a year old. I've had a tad bit of anxiety after that, but nothing I couldn't manage in comparison to postpartum depression itself. So postpartum depression it's a type of depression that you get after a birth of a child. Some people get it right away, literally when their son is born, daughter born, and they're placed on their body. They reject the child or baby in some way, or they need space so that they can heal from their labor. For me, it happened when my son was 5 months old. The reason that it happened for me was because I was under a lot of pressure, and it was multiple sources of pressure that I like to describe pushed me down into depression. So not only is your body healing from birth for a good year, it takes a year for your body to heal from birth. But besides the physical aspects of your healing, there's also emotional aspects of healing and spiritual aspects and identity aspects of healing after having a child. The person that you once were is not the same, and it's not the same even after you have one child, two child, or three children, because at first you were just a mother of one, now you're a mother of two, and now you're a mother of three. So each time it's a new difference identity. Even though you're just having another child, it shouldn't be a big deal, you already did this. That's not the case. Motherhood is very intricate. It's very, I want to keep saying the word healing because it really shakes you from your core being and transforms you into a new person. So postpartum depression, for me, I was able to come out of it with one, acknowledging that something was wrong. I think a lot of mothers who don't come out of it deny that there's something wrong, or don't have the strength to acknowledge that something is wrong, and which is perfectly understandable. Like I said, your body is weak and has to rebuild itself after birth. I'm not trying to put any shame. I'm not trying to call anybody weak. I'm saying this is how it is after you give birth. You need to heal, and you need to heal for a year. So the 5-month mark for me was very significant because my mother was found with an 8-centimeter tumor inside her abdomen, and she needed to get that removed. So that shock was something that I had to really overcome when my son was born, when he was 5 months. Not only that, did I add strain into our relationship. The father and I were not getting along, and it was all peaking at about that moment. And that was another thing added on to the cocktail of postpartum depression. And I can laugh about it now. It's a good thing for me to laugh about it now, because it's a healing thing for me. It took me a long time to come out of it. I struggled a lot. It was something that really changed me, and I don't feel shame, and I don't feel bad about it. I just know that it is something that affects a lot of women, and I would love to be a part of the voices of women that help me overcome it. And if any of you would like to reach out for me, please feel free. We could definitely sit down, talk about it, chat about it online. But so those were 2 things. The third thing was I started going to school. The fourth thing is that I started going to work, literally in the same time frame, 5 months. So not having my mother to help me take care of my child, because obviously her health is number one. She had to go do surgery and all that good stuff so that she could get better. She's way better now. Cancer free, tumor free. The tumor was non-cancerous, thankfully. So she just has to keep up with, like, you know, being aware of her health now. Another thing is that with work and school, you know, I realized that all me doing all these things, not having her around, me trying to go to school, me trying to go to work, and I didn't have a car, so it was an issue. You know, I would drop off my son at the babysitter would pick up my son, but then his father would bring him after he got out of work, so I wouldn't see my son all day, and that was very hard on me as well. So I can imagine that that's how it is for mothers who go to work 6 weeks after, you know, 5 weeks after they had their child. I didn't even start doing that until I was 5 months. I can even imagine how it is for women who do it that early, you know? So it's totally understandable of why postpartum depression is also on the incline. The way our society, you know, has us work. There's other cultures that you know, society doesn't force you to work. But the way that it is here is that you need to be working to sustain the household. And compared to other societies, like for example the Indian culture, they get like a good month to have for themselves, and they could heal on their from the birth. Excuse me. So my aunts and my family and my friends, they really helped me see that something was wrong. My sister and my mom, obviously they didn't know what was going on. We never really had this before happen in our family, so they just knew I was acting strange, and I knew I was acting strange because of the way they were reacting to me. I would stand in the room with them, and usually that's not something I would do. So they would just stare at me while I was in the room, like, are you hungry? Do you need something? I would just literally be standing there in the room, because I knew that I didn't want to be alone. So instead of me being alone, I would be standing in the room while they were in the room. And they were just like, okay, are you okay? Like, do you need something? Are you hungry? Are you thirsty? No, I don't need anything. I'm just here. I'm just standing. And you know, I was getting anxiety when I would go to the market. There was a couple times when I would go to the market and I would just start breaking down and crying, and it was very difficult. Looking at people was very difficult. I would describe, for me, I'm a Pisces, so I'm very sensitive to energies. I'm also a healer. I practice Reiki, and this was all after I had my son. A couple of the things that really helped me to get through it. And for me, being at a market and having people look at me gave me so much anxiety. I just couldn't handle it, and it took me a little while of trying and keep trying to get used to it again, and to build that, I would say, resistance, because I sensed, what I felt was that when people would look at me or talk to me or even be talking around me, I could sense their energies exaggeratingly. Like, it will be overwhelming to be around people, and I'm not used to having that much anxiety. So it was something totally new to me, completely new to me. And So the way I kind of overcame is, I kept trying. I kept going out. I forced myself to go to meditation Mondays in the Holistic Center in Downey Holistic Center. And every Monday they have gatherings where they talked about different subjects during the meditation. And we will all be in this room and we'll talk about what different things mean to us in life and death and deprogramming and just it was having something to look forward to meeting people, talking to people, getting out there and building, like I said, that resistance up again so that I wouldn't be so affected by people's energies. That really helped me heal. And because I just felt raw, like everywhere I went I felt raw. I felt like I couldn't keep up a conversation. It was very difficult for me to even read. I love reading. I am an avid reader. That's all you would see me do in elementary, middle school, high school. Have all these books, thick books, series that I would read, and I couldn't retain information. When I started going to school, it was like I kept reading the same thing over and over, and I wasn't understanding it. And it wasn't until I was writing it over and saying it to myself, like it was very difficult for me to absorb all this new information, because I was going to school for a massage therapist, which I am now. I'm a massage therapist. And so going out helped me overcome postpartum depression. Forcing myself to meet people, forcing myself to do Pilates, to do yoga. That helped me so much. And in so many videos that I've watched for women who've gone through postpartum depression, that's the same thing that most of them say. Doing exercise, working out, because you feel your body so weak. It feels so weak from having a baby that, psychologically you feel weak. Even though a woman giving birth is the strongest thing you could ever do, creating life and having that baby out of your body be born and you survive is the strongest thing a woman can do, in my opinion. It's not the only thing a woman can do, definitely not, but physically I feel like that could be one of the strongest things that women could do. Top 10. There's a lot of other women, who do a lot of great stuff with athletes and things like that. I think that's awesome. And building that up again and realizing, because you feel so broken, you feel so mangled from having a baby, that you're building up again, and yes, I could do this. It was a confidence booster for me. Okay, yesterday I wasn't able to do this video, the 20 minutes of this video, but now I can do, yesterday I barely did 5 minutes straight. Now I could do 7 minutes straight. Oh, yes, like glorify in the little victories. The little victories, they're the ones that count. Taking care of myself, remembering to shower, remembering to eat. It's interesting. I had this conversation, a discussion with my sister, where she, she was watching my son, and I came to pick him up, and the first thing I did, she offered me food, so I started eating because I was hungry. And she's like, "What are you doing? Why aren't you feeding the baby first?" And I was like, "I just came from working. I'm very hungry and I need to eat first." And she's like, "Well, why don't you feed the baby first?" Here's the thing. Baby can wait 2 minutes while I finish eating. Because what's going to happen is that when I start feeding him, I start realize, oh, he needs a diaper change. Oh, he needs to shower. Oh, he needs to do all these things. And I go on this mommy tangent with him. And then I forget to eat for the next 3 hours. So it's very important to be like, oh, I need to eat. I need to take a shower. I need to brush my hair. I need to do these things that used to be routine when you were alone and you were childless, and now you kind of need to bring that in and remember yourself. Most definitely remember yourself.